In this video, we take a brief look at 5 of my favorite watchOS 5 features. The first of my favorite 5 features for watchOS is the ability to connect directly to a Wi-Fi network independently of an iPhone. So you can see I am disconnected from the internet, but it's okay because now within watchOS 5 settings, you'll find a preference dedicated to Wi-Fi. So now, even without your paired iPhone nearby, you can go in, identify nearby access points, and directly connect to them. You can even enter the password using Scribble and connect just like that. So I've entered my password. Now I'm going to tap the join button in the upper right hand corner. And as you can see, it immediately joins that Wi-Fi network. So if I go back to the watch face, you're going to see there's no X at the top indicating disconnection. And if I open up Control Center, you'll see the name of the currently connected Wi-Fi network. Now in the previous version of watchOS, you could invoke Notification Center, which is right here, and Control Center when you're on your watch face screen. But in watchOS 5, you can open both while in an app. For instance, I'm in the workout app now. Simply tap and hold at the bottom of the interface and swipe up to open up Control Center, and do the opposite to open up Notification Center. All right, let's close out of Control Center and do the same thing to open up Notification Center, and there you go. This is definitely one of my favorite new features in watchOS 5. For the very first time in watchOS 5, the Apple Podcast app is here. So now you can control podcast playback on your iPhone, but more importantly, you can play back podcasts directly from the Apple Watch. So all you need to do is pair a pair of AirPods or other Bluetooth speakers, and that's all you need. You don't need your iPhone with you at all. In fact, in this example, I have completely disconnected my iPhone, and now playback is independent of that iPhone, so I can play back all of my favorite podcasts just like that. Now, as you'll see, the interface is very much like the music app outside of a few specialty controls like the ability to skip forward and backwards. And you can access recent podcast episodes directly from the episodes button. You can also speed up or slow down playback. But what's really cool about podcast support on the Apple Watch is Siri, because now you can use Siri to search the entire Apple Podcast library. Even if you don't currently subscribe to that podcast, you see right there a complication related to the podcast. You can view currently now playing information there, tap it to open up the podcast app. But like I was saying, Siri allows you to subscribe to a particular podcast. You can do that. Just ask Siri to subscribe to whatever the name of the podcast happens to be, and it'll say, "Are you sure?" You can say yes or no. In this case, I'm going to say no just because this is an example. So let's tap on no. But you can also just ask Siri to play a certain podcast, even if you haven't subscribed to it. So I can say, "Hey, play Back to Work," and it will play that podcast for you. So really cool. And again, completely independent of your iPhone. So again, if you're working out or doing whatever, you can just have your Apple Watch, a pair of AirPods, and request either playback or subscription to any podcast on the Apple Podcast library. That is really powerful stuff. What do you guys think? Will you use podcasts on your Apple Watch? Another one of my favorite new features is the new Activity App Competitions feature. This allows you to link up with friends and compete head-to-head in a 7-day competition, which is really, really cool. So you can go in here and look at the stats, see how you're stacking up against those you're competing against. So you can see Greg is pretty much destroying me right now. It's pretty pathetic, actually. But I still have time left. I still have 1 day left today. So I'm going to try to get at it and see if I can catch up with him. But you get all that information there on a day-by-day basis. You even get notifications to help spur you on, to tell you how you're doing thus far. It doesn't look good for me. So it's telling me I'm at the last day of the competition. I need to do some work, put some work in to catch up to Greg. Otherwise, he's going to win. And there's also special little awards that you'll find in the Activity app. It's really cool. Definitely one of my favorite new features. And lastly, the ability to view web content within things like email is incredibly useful. Previously, it would say, hey, you need to look at this email on your iPhone if you want to view the web content, which includes things like HTML formatting and images. But now you can actually view that content directly from your Apple Watch without having to rely on your iPhone. You can even zoom in, look at images. So you see the image of the cat on the vacuum. Priceless things like that you can now do, and it's all thanks to watchOS 5. So ladies and gentlemen, that has been a look at 5 of my favorite watchOS 5 features for the Apple Watch. Which one is your favorite? Let me know down below in the comments. This is Jeff with 9to5Mac.